production of Les Misérables, the world-famous musical based on Victor Hugo's epic novel about life, love, and revolution in 19th century France, has arrived in the States after a 25th anniversary comeback in London. And the tour starts at the Paper Mill Playhouse in Millburn. Here are some clips from the London production.
I think the story is about compassion, it's about love, it's about redemption, and I think they're all sort of qualities that human nature is drawn to. And I think the score is powerful.
I love him, but when the night is over, he is gone, the river's just a river. Without him, the world around me changes, the trees are barren everywhere, streets are full of strangers. I love him.
It's incredible to think that the show is 25 years old because it's so popular and it plays so fresh and young. And it's one of the most popular musicals in the world. It's been all over the world. So the celebration of this 25th anniversary, and I think the idea was to create a whole new visual experience of the show.
So phenomenally complicated, it's relentless. So it is very hard, but you just have to make it. You just have to put, put your flag in the sand, and then just work, and work away from there, and then it just kind of runs away by itself.
It's a big piece, the idea of putting on Les Misérables 25 years after it was created. It's the hardest thing about it, really, is that it's so ingrained in everyone's psyche. The worry was much more in sort of getting the audience to allow us to do it in a different way. What you really realise is that the story is more powerful than the set.
When I started researching the show, I found that Victor Hugo was the most wonderful, forward-thinking painter in the 19th century who kept his work relatively hidden. And I started researching his paintings, and then that became the basis for how we developed the show.
I remember being quite captivated by Victor Hugo's style, really because you sort of, by looking at his paintings, you really kind of get him a little bit.
I think once you look at those paintings, they're so atmospheric and they're so rich and dark and brooding that they kind of, it just says, it has exactly the same qualities as Les Mis the show has. And also when you're dealing with putting that in a world of, it worked very well putting it in a world of decay and darkness. But you know, they gave us the vehicle to take us away from that world into some slightly more beautiful pictures for some of the more romantic scenes.
We've been rehearsing the show now for 4 weeks, and so you're accustomed to hearing these songs every day, or the music every day, and we get to the last part of the show, and it is all that you can do to just keep from just weeping, because it's just there's so many touching moments where you just want to go, oh, you know, and you think, well, I'm an old jaded actor, you know, you've been around, but it's really amazing, and I think people are going to be surprised at how fresh the show is. Even after 25 years, they're going to look at it and go, wow, it's a new show.
We have so much fun on this stage, so there's such a great vibe in the room. We're all so chill, and it's really easily one of the best working experiences I've had in 20 years in theater.
Do not forget me, 24601.
I read the passages of the book that pertain to Javert, and I read what he says and what people say about him and what the author says about him, and then you try to flesh out a real person from that. A lot of people say this character is very religious, very pious, but he's not. He is a legalist. His religion is the law, and as long as it follows that, then it is in the right. But if anything strays from the law, even one hair, that's when he attacks, because it's a rebellion, and his job, his position in the world is to defend that society, even if he isn't a part of it. So he has that Terminator-esque sort of drive going forward, but he doesn't have the humanity that's required to dispense the law.
And now I know how freedom feels, the jailer always at your heels, it is the law. This piece of paper in my hand that makes me curse throughout the land, it is the law. Like a cur, I walk the street, the dirt beneath their feet.
He is a man who spent the better part of his life in prison, better part of his life being invisible. He's released from prison, and his expectation of the world is that he is nothing, and that is how he's going to be treated and how he expects to be treated. So that's how he begins his journey once he's released. And through a simple act of kindness, he rediscovers his humanity.
Lawrence has just this amazing spirit, like this soul. He's a big guy, like Valjean is. I mean, physically he's a bear, and yet there's this gentle spirit of just goodness about him. So, yeah, I think he's quite special.
It's a story about human struggle. You know, it's about people trying to do what's right, you know, and despite where you come from in this world, that you can come out on top. And I just think we all understand and relate somehow to what that means to walk through this life sometimes with baggage or with things that want to hold you back or hold you down, you know, and just getting through that.
There are lots of levels to it, but again, like the story and the characters following someone's journey and then spurring off to follow someone else's journey, and seeing their heart broken or their sort of love smashed, or all of the things that we all experience in life, sort of wrapped up in one. I think we understand it.